Welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Jim Rogers. Interstate 30 westbound was shut down Wednesday morning, starting at the 101 mile marker due to the multiple accident on Interstate 30 in Hunt County. Hopkins County Sheriff's Department, Sulphur Springs Police Department assisted along with the Campbell Fire and Cache Fire Departments. Numerous vehicles were involved in the accident, and ambulances from Hopkins County were dispatched to assist victims along with other units. There was one dead at the scene of that accident. In 8th Judicial District Court Tuesday, 4 sentences were handed down. Christopher Shane Freeman was sentenced to 2 years day for day on aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Once he is released, he will be on probation for 8 years for evading arrest with a vehicle. LaDarwin Green was sentenced to 3 years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for possession of a controlled substance. Rudolfo Gonzalez pled guilty to burglary of a building and was sentenced to 1 year state jail time. Tammy Jo Woodard agreed to 6 months state jail time for theft of property more than $2,500, 2 or more with previous convictions. Education and teacher retirement proved the focus of Tuesday night's candidate forum sponsored by the Hopkins Range Retired Teacher Organization. Candidates for District 2 State Representative and State Senate, along with one candidate for Lieutenant Governor, addressed the packed City Council chambers at Sulphur Springs City Hall and then answered questions from the audience. District 2 Representative incumbent Dan Flynn and challenger Bill Brannon were up first. Flynn referred to the ranking of House members by educators and reminded those present he was named as one who is a friend of public education. He stated he has voted against the voucher system that would provide funding for families to use for private school education. He also pointed to his actions to maintain retirement funding for retired teachers. He noted that he is a member of the Sunset Committee and is chair of the Pension Committee for the Texas House of Representatives. Bill Brannon, Flynn's challenger, says changes in appraisals and property taxes are needed to increase funding for education and for teacher pensions. He said there are a number of departments that also need change in the state, naming Child Protective Services and the Department of Health Services as those needing specific work. Kendall Scudder, Democratic challenger for the District 2 State Senate seat, told the crowd he would sound angry in his presentation and that he is angry due to the school voucher bill signed by his opponent, Bob Hall. Scudder said the bill will discriminate and prove an entitlement for wealthy. He stated that public schools in small communities are the centerpiece of the community. He noted that the voucher system would lead to privatizing schools. Scudder said the biggest difference between his campaign and Hall's is the funding and support of Empower Texans, which he called a friend of the voucher system. Scudder said funding for schools and pensions could be found in higher taxes for high-yielding gas wells. He said that would bring in billions of dollars to the state. Although incumbent District 2 Senator Bob Hall could not be present, his representative was Andrew Greenberg, a Mesquite Independent School District teacher. Greenberg, who teaches AP courses and debate, said there's a lot of rhetoric about education being heard in the campaign. He said opponents of Hall are using scare rhetoric. Greenberg noted Hall's Promises Made, Promises Kept slogan. He said the slogan was a reference to teacher retirement and the cause is important to Hall. He said Hall recognizes the current retirement model is broken and Hall plans to address the issue with new answers. He said Hall views education as the most important thing in the state and that students are the most important thing in the educational system. He noted that Hall voted against unfunded mandates and seeks parity for pay for those in education. Challenger Mike Collier noted the absence of Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and said that is not unusual for him, Collier, to sit next to an empty chair at political candidate forums. Collier, an accountant, said politics will work better when those with a work background are elected to office. He stated he does not support vouchers and he has a plan to fund education. Collier said the state has made decisions over the years that have created serious revenue problems, and unless those are reversed, there will be difficulties to face. Regarding property tax, Collier said there is a loophole in the property tax law that allows large industrial and commercial properties to underpay their taxes. He said $5 billion would be added to the state coffers if those property owners pay appraised values. The power of the lieutenant governor is the power to force a vote, he said. He said, when gerrymandering is killed, the current animosity in politics will end. He said he knew that he would lose the gerrymandering question in the first session, but he promised to campaign against those who did not vote for or to lose gerrymandering. He stated that as lieutenant governor, that would be a priority to end the gerrymandering of political districts.
Shanna Martin of Can Help is holding another of the poverty simulations for people who live in Hopkins County. If you'd like to be involved in that, it is Wednesday, October 17th. Let's find out more from Shanna Martin.
It is next Wednesday, actually, and it is going to be at The Rock here in Sulphur Springs from 1 to 4:30, I think we said, but it's usually about 3 hours. And what that is...
What is a poverty simulation?
Well, good question. A lot of people are asking that. Basically what it is, just kind of a background story. We adopted this community action poverty simulation from the Missouri Community Action Network, and they were already doing a fabulous job with it, and it's rolled out nationwide, and it's a huge kit that we put together, basically, or they put together for us, where participants can come in and they will what we consider live a life of a month of experiences for people in poverty. People talk about poverty, but really, unless you truly experienced it, it's really kind of hard to understand. And this is really an immersion experience. You are given a participant role, and you're going to walk through someone's life for about a month, and that's broken down into 15-minute increments, 15-minute weeks, basically, and then you will basically just try to get by on what you have.
So as a participant, you're going to have a role, and as a person who, because of low income, has several challenges to face. Maybe low income including medical problems and vehicle problems. And
the roles basically are portrayed, after real life. It could be it could be an individual who's elderly that lives on Social Security, or it could be grandparents taking care of some grandchildren, or it could be a single mother and children. There are 26 different family profiles that we have in the poverty simulation, and some people may experience the same profiles, but it's really just shaped after what goes on in real life.
Okay. So the 15 minutes, each of the 15 minutes, is it 1 hour long?
The actual immersion part of the simulation is 1 hour long. And really what it is, it kind of, what we like to say, it kind of bridges that gap between what the misconceptions are about people in poverty to really understanding it a little bit more. And then what happens after the immersion experience is we come together and what we call kind of unpack what you learned, and then brainstorm about what we can do within our communities to make some local changes.
That's the whole point of it, to make more people more aware of challenges that people that you pass in the grocery store and drive along the same roadways with are facing.
Right. These people are regular people. These are our neighbors, and some people you may never know that they're facing these types of struggles. Yeah. And it's really just an opportunity for people to come together and just find out more about what's going on in the community. Obviously, we work with people that are low income on a daily basis, so we know probably more than maybe the average person. And really, and in Hopkins County, we like to say, and we have about 16% of people living at the poverty level, but the poverty level is very low. But we have another probably 30% that live just paycheck to paycheck, or they may need additional state services. And so these are just regular people. These are your friends and your neighbors.
Well, so you have about 40 participants already, and there's room for more.
There's definitely room for more. We can go all the way up to about 80 participants. So if you're interested and if you're curious about what it is, please, we ask you to go to our website, actually at www.canhelponline.org, and sign up. This is our community poverty simulation, so we'll do those at least a couple times a year, and that's $5 per participant. Now, if there's an organization, maybe a large larger organization, or maybe there's a couple organizations that would like to partner together to have a simulation, then we can put those on privately. We just did one at the beginning of the school year for a school district in Dangerfield Lone Star. We did the whole entire school district there. So this will actually be our third simulation. So we also continue to learn as we go, and make changes, and whatever our audience is that are participating, we try to kind of cater towards that. For instance, in this one, we have a lot of educators from our area, from Sulphur Springs, PJC, and then so we might focus a little bit more on the children that live in poverty and how it affects them and things like that.
I think that not every person or family that finds himself at this level maybe has always been there.
Exactly.
Life experiences or life challenges happen, medical, or maybe you have an influx of relatives now in your household.
Right.
Various things that put you into this situation that maybe you're not prepared for.
I like to say there are so many different reasons to kind of be in poverty as there maybe are people that experience it. It is, it can happen just for any reason, and if you're living just kind of paycheck to paycheck, just a lot of people are just one or two paychecks away from even being homeless because of, if you lose your main source of income and it could take you a month or two to get a new job, you have nothing coming in, and that's where agencies like us can kind of help fill that gap, and just some of the things that we do. Obviously, we want to kind of hope that doesn't happen and prevent that, but, things like that happen all the time.
Well, a person could have their identity stolen, or they could lose their purse or wallet, and then where are you, even on a temporary basis?
Right. If something small like that happens, which, it seems small, but it's really not. If your purse is stolen, or let's say all the money that you had in your wallet is stolen, and that's all that you have. That's all you have for the month. And, it's gone. What can you do?
That may be your poverty simulation.
Right. Just different things like that happen. And these character roles, they're based on real life experiences and real life client situations. And the good thing about the poverty simulation is I've heard people say, well, you should really have the people that are in poverty talk. And that's one of the things that we do. We ask, people that may have been our clients in the past or could be current clients to come in, and they fill the role of the community resources that the participants will go to, and they'll visit during the simulation. A lot of those could be our clients, and they'll have the opportunity at the end of the simulation to talk to the group about what they experienced in their situation. We have some that had some major medical issues, some that were on disability, just different things like that. And these are regular, everyday people.
Well, so there's programs out there for people who are in poverty to reach out to. But sometimes it's not just as easy as just making that phone call, making that connection, having an appointment, going to it, and being qualified.
Yes. Honestly, being poor is hard. There are a lot of obstacles, and you will see that inside the poverty simulation when you visit. It's not something it's easy. It is really a hard job because it's almost like a part-time job just to find resources, or to actually look for a job is a job in itself. You know what I'm saying? And that's, obviously, as you'll see in the simulation, a lot of these people, they do work in the simulation, or it could be a single mother that, had been a stay-at-home mom almost all of her life, and then all of a sudden the husband is gone, and that's what's unique about these experiences, is that they're unique in each of their settings, but they're also common, and that happens a lot, and we're really excited to kind of showcase really what goes on out in our community, and for people to understand and empathize more about, because people think, well, they're poor because they want to be poor, and that's not really the case. You know what I mean? And so we're really hoping to shed a light on that.
So what sorts of people in our community could benefit from this simulation? I
really think that everyone could benefit, but we say, if you're if you work with the public, or if you work in a setting to where you work with people who tend to be more low income, I say if you work in the medical field, if you are an educator, even our community leaders, it's really important for them to to see what goes on within our community. I mean, if a good portion of our community, let's say 20%, is living in extreme poverty, then that's important for our community leaders to know that and to really understand, as well as anybody that works maybe for the state or social service agencies, like I said, people that deal with the low income on a daily basis. And if you're just, anyone in church, if you have a heart for others, I really say, kind of get out there and take the opportunity to kind of experience this simulation at least one time. People will say, and I've been through it multiple times, and I really learned something every single time going through it. And it's a really educating and unique experience.
Maybe some of the population in Hopkins County who work in services such as Can Help provides already know these things. What about someone maybe who's heading into that sort of career?
I think that it's a fantastic thing to go through. Matter of fact, we've reached out to the College of Social Work at Texas A&M Commerce, and we have several students that are going to be, several social work students. They could be bachelor level or master level. They're going to be going through the simulation as well, just as kind of just an educational tool for those going into the career fields. And so they kind of have a little bit of more of an understanding about what the population of people that are in poverty are going through and what it feels like to them.
Well, it would add to each of us own personal compassion level.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Maybe we have been there. Maybe not currently, but we've been there, and we kind of think we know. I think with all the technology added and the ways that people have to keep up with things now, not so much just one-on-one, it's different.
I believe that. I think, and I think some experiences that people face now are different than maybe they faced 10 or 15 years ago. And while there are more social services out there, for some people, for some others, there aren't. We're blessed in Hopkins County because we actually have a really caring community and population, and we have agencies like Can Help, Community Chest, that can help with things when people struggle, that can help with emergency assistance and just different things like that. But there are a lot of people in a lot of counties out there that we know that there's nothing available. Being 211, obviously serving the rural regions of Northeast Texas, we are blessed to be in Hopkins County and to have the resources that we do have. I
agree with you, Shanna. Tell us very briefly, when and where?
So the poverty simulation is next Wednesday, October 17th from 1 to 4:30 p.m. at The Rock. And it is open to everyone, whoever is interested, and it's $5 per participant. We just ask that you go to our website at canhelponline.org and sign up. If for some reason you don't have internet access, just give us a call at the office and we'll get you signed up. It is 885-9797, extension 3. Or if you have any questions, just give us a call and we'd be glad to help you with that and answer those questions.
Thank you for coming in to tell us about the poverty simulation.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for all the work you do through Can Help and 211.
It takes a lot of us. It's certainly not just me. My staff is amazing.
Here's Don Julian with sports.
Wednesday is Coordinator Day this week, and I talked with Wildcats offensive coordinator Matt Young about the offensive performance against Forney last Friday and about the Ennis defense the Wildcats will face this Friday in Ennis.
Had a lot of guys make plays. That's really what stands out. Our execution level was higher. We'd stressed tempo over the 2-week period and getting ready for Forney, and I think that was better. We're still not where we need to be. Still a lot of details on steps and hand placement that can be better. Some timing can continue to be more consistent in our routes, and then we can definitely play at a faster pace. So those are things we're addressing this week. But I thought DeCorian did a great job from the pocket. I think he ended up 18 out of 22. Right. Great decision making. I think there was a couple of things on the night that we liked. He threw one back across the field. He knew before it even landed that it was his mistake. He was patting to us. But he did a good job distributing the rock. Obviously, Austin Dodd had a huge night. He got free a few times, whether we were handing it to him or getting the ball down the field. Jamon Brian Amos has really been kind of an X factor for us. If you look in the stat sheet, he only had one catch. but he's really becoming a force on the edge blocking, kind of a vocal leader in his preparation, and we're really liking what he can do for us. There's some intangibles there that he brings to the table. Landry Tyson had a big catch. Bryce McQueen had his best game, didn't have a catch, but his best game with his route running and his blocking has improved dramatically over the last few weeks. So we got a lot of guys that are doing things. Payson Edwards had a huge catch that got us on a first down. So just things like that are happening out on the perimeter, getting our passing game going, and then to led to our run game. I was talking to somebody just the other day. They're like, well, I guess the run game's got to get better. It wasn't very good the other night. Well, we rushed for 280. It's because it's just what you notice and what you perceive, especially on the edge. Philip Rader, Charlie Maddox did a great job handling things on the edge. Of course, Ethan Rogers runs it off from the middle. Then we got our big guys inside. Hayden Daniel had a huge night. He had to move from tackle to guard with Giovanni Pisano being down, and he didn't miss a beat. And so really a pleasant surprise for us. It's tough on those guys when they switch positions. And then the running backs, Chalk Sims, 2 touchdowns. He only had 3 carries, but he found the end zone when he got it. Colton Allen had a big night, and Caden Davis always provides some explosiveness. So we were pleased. It was a fun night. It's nice when you put 50-something points on the board, but there's still things that we can improve on and things we can address and that we have to for the weeks we got coming up.
All right. Next, the Ennis Lions, and so tell us how they look to you on defense.
It's the same old Ennis. They have extremely tough kids that play really hard. They're really good tacklers and really well coached. They're young for the most part. I think they've got 15 or 16 sophomores on varsity, but those guys can play. They've got a young safety, 6 foot, 160, 170 pounds, freshman, but makes tackles. They've got 2 defensive ends, number 5 and number 31, really do a good job of setting the edge and taking on blockers. And then on the inside, they're undersized, but they don't play that way. Really great with their hands, really good extension. And then their inside linebackers do a great job of tackling. So it really comes back to us, playing with pace, executing, and then really being physical. That's what we're really stressing, not just inside, but across the board, that we make it a physical football game because we know they're going to play that way. So it's really just kind of deciding, are we going to be the hammer or be the nail?
They're another team that seemed like they kind of shortened the game. They like to run. They kind of hog the ball. So that kind of puts a little bit more pressure when you realize you may not get a whole lot of possessions in this kind of game. Yeah,
the thing we're stressing is we play at our pace and we're trying to get 6 possessions in a half. If we're getting 6 in the first half, then we're playing at closer to our pace than somebody else's pace, or the pace they want to play with us, which is fine too. We may have 8 possessions, but 6 is kind of our number we're shooting for. So we can't change their pace, but we can sure push ours. And that kind of puts pressure on them to really be patient, be able to handle that slowdown while we've got the other side going 1,000 miles an hour.
Early success. Coach Owen's kind of excited in his gathering with us yesterday about the potential upside for this team. Still a lot of improvement that can be made. Yeah,
that's the nice thing right now. We're 4-0, but we're not anywhere near what our potential is. And the great thing is the kids are showing up each day to work to that. We talk about 1%, finding just something each day to get better. And Monday wasn't a clean practice, but at the end when you ask them, hey, did you get 1% better? Yes. Well, then we turn around Tuesday and we have a great practice. And it's obvious you got the 1% better. So if we keep coming with that each day, it's really exciting to see Friday. Friday's just kind of an assessment of where are we. And then we come back at it and go Friday. Here we go, an opportunity to see where we are. And that's the exciting thing. I think the kids are starting to catch on to that we don't know which way it's going to go on Friday. And I don't mean score. We just don't know what's going to happen. Is it going to be a big night on the ground? Is it going to be a big night inside receivers? Is it going to be the outside receivers? What did we improve on this week that takes in effect against that week's opponent?
Wildcats defensive coordinator Alex Guerra gives us his assessment of the defensive play last Friday against Forney. He also tells us about the Ennis Lions offense the Wildcats will encounter Friday night at Lions Memorial Stadium in Ennis.
It wasn't very good. I felt like we were very sloppy. We talked about we were making mistakes, communication in the secondary, just doing things we hadn't done since the first scrimmage. We were able to get it together, obviously, and hold them down when it counted, a couple of 2-point conversions, and we were put it back together, but it was a rough one for us, I think.
Yeah. Anybody kind of stick out that you thought played well for you on defense?
I think our D-line still did a decent job. They continue to fight. Our linebackers, inside guys getting cut all night. They kept on coming off blocks. But other than that, I just think we were average all the way across the board, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Coach Owens made a big deal out of the Lions needing to be physical, and he thought it was kind of a draw when all was said and done. You know, we kind of won some and lost some. You feel like your defensive line held their own against that, which is a really good Forney offensive line.
Yeah, I think they did. I agree with Coach. I think it's kind of a draw. I'd like to win more than we lost. But I think they did a good job. You know, we were able to hold them when it counted with just a 3-man front, which is what we do. The guys did a good job. You know, I wasn't disappointed by any means. I just felt like overall we could have done better as a unit.
Yeah, it sounded like they had kind of a crazy 2-point play that's kind of a surprise, but it sounded like Jose Rodriguez did a good job of sniffing that out and making a big play.
Yeah, I think definitely he did a great job there, but I think that's also, you know, despite how the game went, it's a plus to have so many seniors that have played, that have been there and done that. You know, we've had a couple of close games and some 2-point conversion stuff earlier in the year, and we were able to sniff it out. So I really think that the fact that we have a little more experience, it kind of took over the fact that we had some bad play early.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Ennis a little bit. I know that on offense they got a really big offensive lineman, I think 300-pounder.
Yeah.
Got a pretty elusive quarterback. I don't know if he throws all that much or well, but a great running back. Coach Owen says the best we'll probably have seen this year.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Quarterback, he's very shifty, but running back is great. They also got a receiver, number 6, out there that's he's really hard to defend. When those 3 get in space, they're hard to tackle. So focus this week has been breaking down, tackling in the space, you know, cutting down distances, trying to get better at those things. They're good. Their O-line is good, but again, that's, you know, kind of what you're going to get in this league. They're going to come right at you, and we've been preparing for it. So I think we're ready.
I'm sure Ennis can see tape, and so if they see running plays that Forney on the edge and stuff had success, you figure that you're going to get more of a dose of that, I guess, coming up. So. Oh
yeah, big time. Coach Harrell and them, they're great at exploiting any weakness. You know, the past 3 or 4 games we've watched, it seems to be a different scheme, and it seems to be attacking whatever the defense is weak at. Well, we haven't been really good off the edge lately, so I can guarantee you're going to see a whole bunch of that this week, and we've been challenging our outside guys, outside backers, you know, K-Row and DQ and Churchman and those guys, and been really challenging them to have a great game this week because we need one out of all of them.
Yeah, Coach Owen said that was really kind of a bind for us because Ennis has been trying to figure out who they are, and so they're trying a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So every week on tape, you look at something different. You don't know what they're going to break out this week.
Yeah, I think in game planning this week, we went back and we said, okay, what has hurt us specifically, and we've game planned for that. I mean, Coach, them again, they do a great job over there. They're going to find what hurts you, and if they hold true to what they do, then they're probably trying to come off the edge against us a little bit and attack BC gap and farther out.
The Lady Cats volleyball team began the second half of district play with a 5-set 3-2 win over Royce City in Wildcat Gym on Tuesday night. The Lady Cats are now 2-4 in district play, and they are now tied with Greenville for the 4th and last playoff spot. The Lady Cats are also 26-11 for the season. After the match Tuesday, I talked with Lady Cats volleyball coach Justin Manus. I like the ending on this one a little bit better. Unbelievable to play 3 straight district ball games to 5 sets.
That just goes to show you how competitive this district is. And that's a team that's sitting 3rd right now in our district. So I knew it was going to be tough. I knew that they knew what the stakes were, and we knew what the stakes were. We just had some people show up and play tonight that just had some of their best games. And Kate Womack with her serves in set 5, she really got on fire. And it's kind of a rising serve. You think it's dropping, but it kind of rises. And I think Sydney Washburn played her best match of the year. She was just very, very consistent. Madison Vickery had a really good shot. She had an error and came back and then got it again and put the ball away. So we did some things tonight that we haven't done in the past few matches as far as when we make errors. We finally came back and said, hey, we're going to come at you again. We're not going to play safe. But to win in 5, we'll take it.
And I know you've been stressing kind of scalding kills, and I thought Abby Baer just knocked the splinters out of the floor tonight.
But didn't mean to leave her out. She she had a really, really good game. Probably her most consistent as far as swinging on the ball and hitting it. She stayed after yesterday and wanted a little extra work on her hitting, so I'm guessing that paid off a little bit. She had a little bit more confidence tonight. Leadership on the floor too. She was very vocal on the floor, which I liked. But just overall, I like how they pulled together to win it. Because when you lose a couple in set 5, it kind of sticks in your head that 5th set, and they were able to come out and shake off the previous matches and win this one.
Yeah, the good thing was to see how they charged out of there, where they didn't get way behind, and it really served them well. They just, they swooned a little bit near the end, but they had such a big lead, they just held on.
In set 5, it's a race to 8. Eight's a big number, and that's just what I've always been taught and what I've always coached. And so we got to 8 first, and generally, people who get to 8 first generally win. And so that's what we usually stress going into set 5, and they jumped out and were able to get there first.
Yeah, we won the first one. Then we kind of swooned in there with a couple of sets. Looked like we were in danger, but as they found something within themselves in that set 4 to come back and win that one. And then again, played with a lot of confidence, I thought, in set 5.
That was the biggest thing, is if we can get to any set and play with some confidence, we're going to be very tough to beat. And it just happened that we were most confident in set 5.
Yeah. Now you get to Lindale. I remember how good they looked in their own gym, but it's different in here, and maybe maybe this 5-set win will kind of propel them a little bit. A long way to go, but a positive step tonight.
Right. It's all about matchups. You just can't ever tell. It's going to be nice playing here. The pressure's going to be on them coming in, and I thought we played them pretty well over there. It just didn't go our way. So I'm hoping that the ladies get mentally prepared and get ready to win.
The Lady Cats will be playing Lindale Friday at 5 p.m. in Wildcat Gym. The Saltillo ISD sponsored the Brookshires Challenge cross-country meet last Thursday at Lake Bob Sandlin State Park in Pittsburgh. 723 runners participated. In the varsity boys run, Saltillo's Garrett Tarver finished first with a time of 17:41. Dylan Beadle of Saltillo was fourth with a time of 18:27. The Saltillo Lions were sixth in boys team competition. In the varsity girls run, Saltillo's Sienna Collins was third with a time of 12:04. Lexi Busby of Como Picton was ninth with a time of 12:33. Commerce won the varsity boys competition, and Pittsburgh was the varsity girls champ. Saltillo won the junior high boys race, and Miller Grove was second. Saltillo's Gunnar Tarver and Coy Collins finished 1 and 2 in the junior high boys race. In the junior high girls team competition, Como Picton was second. In the junior high girls race, Kylie Melton of Miller Grove was fifth.
Thanks for watching Channel 18 News. Have a great evening.